decides to create the division. It breaks everything. All of the power, none of the accountability. It's the opposite of everything this country stands for. Of course it didn't work. So now, what do we got left? Good intentions.
Hey, and us. All of us. And I've got a hell of a lot more than good intentions. We're gonna do this. And we're gonna do it the right way.
I want that to be true, Agent. I do. But I don't see what makes you different from the rest. I just hope for all our sakes that you are. Don't mess up.
Yo, what's up guys? Gamerverse back again doing another video for you guys today, man. So today we are reviewing The Division 1. Yes, the first Division game that came out back in 2016. This game is such a gem of a game, and it's kind of forgotten, you know. And it was one of those games that when it came out, I didn't actually play it. I saw my brother play this game, and he was like so into the game, and he was enjoying it. And he's currently playing Division 2, but he was telling me how awesome this game is, and I finally decided to play it for myself in 2026. I know it's years later, but in this video I do want to review it, go over it a little bit, what I think about the game, and overall how good is it to play it in 2026, how good can it be. And I will give you guys a final score out of 10, letting you guys know the final verdict at the end of the video. So without further ado guys, let's get into the review. So what did I kind of expect before playing this game? Like I mentioned, I've watched my brother play the game, and he's like super into the Division. His whole channel is about the Division. In fact, I'm gonna pin his channel, sorry, in the comment section or in the titles or in the bio of the video description. So before playing it, my expectations was high because my brother enjoyed playing the game, and he told me about it, and it is actually impressive. It impressed me more than I thought it would, and it's super impressive. The opening of the game is so impressive. For a game that came out back in 2016, I think this is a really good intro for a game. And I mean, compared to like modern games, this game felt, I didn't feel mind blowing, but I mean, it looked really good for a game that came out back in 2016. It still looks really good on PC. I don't know how good it will look on PS4 right now, but I know on PC I had all the settings like cranked up to high settings, and the game looks really good. But I'll get into the graphics a little bit later, and I do want to talk about where the game is based in. The game is based in New York, and the atmosphere is super cool. And if you guys don't know what the Division is, I will get into the story a little bit, but I will say this, that the game is about a virus that released in the city, and now it's kind of like the apocalypse. So now everything is out of control, and you are an agent sent by the Joint Task Force to be activated in this apocalypse or state of emergency. This virus has taken over New York, and now you are in the snowy New York, city of New York. You gotta do things. You've got to make sure that people are taken care of. You got to take down enemies. You got to do missions. You got to piece everything together by getting this evidence and things like that. And the world feels super immersive for a game that came out back in 2016. There's a lot of things that can keep you immersed in the game, like even just like the weather and the lighting and the environmental detail in the game. I think it's really cool. Like what they did here is super cool with the snowy New York vibes, and I think it's really cool. The atmosphere is super cool. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the gunplay and the combat. So the shooting is so satisfying. Like I didn't expect it to be as satisfying as it was. Like I don't play a lot of loot and shooters. This game is like a loot and shooter, and I felt myself feeling super engaged with how satisfying the combat felt, how satisfying the guns felt. Keep in mind, you can actually modify the guns the way you want to. You pick up like mods and perks. The game has a whole ability system that you can use, but the ability system is tied to the game's story, because throughout the story you have to actually get supplies, and you got to get supplies for particular centers within your operational base. And what I mean by that is, like, when you do particular missions, you get supplies for particular department in that base. So if I would get stuff for the medical department, I would get more things added to my medical skills. So that goes the same for my tech skills and things like that. But there's a lot of things that you can do with the abilities, a lot of things that actually help you a lot, because the game can get tough. If you're not playing the game with anyone, this game is very much encouraged to be played multiplayer, and I did actually play it with someone else, and it was really cool playing with someone. Even though all of these missions can be completed at your own leisure, like you can play the whole game yourself, but the game is very much encouraged to be played with another player, and it just makes things a little bit easier. Doesn't mean that the missions are going to be suddenly easier if you are like 3, 4 people in a group, but there is a little bit of more leniency on how tough the enemies are. So with the game, I mean, it's cover-based combat throughout the whole game, so you're going to find yourself in cover a lot and figuring out ways to take down enemies in a particular fashion. You can go ahead guns blazing, or you can go ahead and actually use turrets, use particular things. Like I mentioned, you got some abilities, so you got access to gadgets and things like that. You are at the end of the day agent that has been activated to deal with this high state of emergency that New York is facing. So that is really cool. And by the way, you do create your own character in the game. When you do start the game, you get to create your character. You get to actually customize the character in terms of appearance and everything. And as you play the game, you do get access to different clothing and stuff like that. By the clothing is just vanity items. The main thing that you need to be collecting is guns, and you need to be collecting guns, and when I mean guns, I mean like higher level guns, and guns that actually are going to help you against certain level of enemies, because every enemy in this game has a different level, and by that level you will see their strength, ultimately how powerful they are in the game. So having a weapon that will be equivalent to a level 5 enemy will make it more of a easier, or like a more less challenging type of thing. You know what I mean by that? Yeah, so that's the gunplay, and like I mentioned, the game is cover based, so you got to move around between cover. It's different compared to like newer third person shooters, but a lot of third person shooters out there right now, loot and shooters like Arc Raiders and stuff like games like Arc Raiders and Hell is Us. All of these have these cover based combat, but the Division was kind of like the beginning of that era of loot and shooting. Like I mentioned, it came back out in 2016, which is a couple of years ago now, and that is the gunplay. I mean, it's just super satisfying. At the beginning, it won't feel like that, but the more you play the game, the more satisfying the gunplay feels. And next, I want to talk about the loot. The game, obviously, like I mentioned, it's a loot and shooter. There are some slight RPG mechanics, like I mentioned, but it's not super heavy RPG. Like you don't have to like go to sleep every night. You don't have to like eat every day or stuff like that. It's just basically like looting. You got your weapons that you loot. You got your gear that you'll be looting after every encounter that you get. The game has encounters where you face up against random enemies in the match, or in a server, or in a particular session, and all of those things that you pick up will be added to your level. So every mission that you sometimes have to do, or missions that you have to do, like main missions, those missions are level restricted. So, like I mentioned, there's levels that you do that are restricted to certain levels, and those levels actually have to be acquired by you. So, you have to be level 15 to do a level 15 mission, etc., etc. And the game rewards you with a lot of loot and a lot of progression as you go forward into the game. The more you play, more missions. So the RPG system is still enjoyable, and I was surprised how good like the looting is and how good the gear stats is. At first, it might be a little bit confusing, but the more you play the game, and the more you realize that it actually makes a lot of sense. The way they did everything in the game, the way they did the loot system, the way they did all of these, recovery systems, and all of these things that they added. So that is the RPG mechanics. So next I want to talk about the story and the characters. So the story, like I mentioned, it is about a virus that was released, and now you are an agent. Obviously, there's a lot of corruption going on. There's enemies that you need to take down. But the game is about looking for a way to recover, to restore America, or restore New York back to its former glory. before this virus took over the world. So the overall pandemic collapse is basically the setting, and the main characters that you have in the game are Lao Fei. She's one of the characters that you meet at the start of the game, and you end up being activated by her in the first mission, and you end up working for her and her base. But there's a lot of more actors in the game. The game doesn't have a lot of cutscenes in it. It's more of just a game that is fun to play online with a friend. The story is very much left to interpretation and a whole lot of dialogue that is said over radios, and there's evidence and stuff like I mentioned that you need to collect. And you get to play these evidences because they are video files, and then you get to piece together the story of the game as you go along. But like I mentioned, there's not a lot of cutscenes, but Lao Fei is one of the main characters that you face. So recovering the world, getting the world back to how it was before the pandemic took over New York, that is the main premise of the story. And you are, as an agent, it's your duty to obviously fulfill this, you know, mission, succeed in this mission. So the game is open world. It has side missions, it has random encounters, and it has a lot of exploration going on, a lot of hidden things that you can get, hidden collectibles, hidden areas. And for a 2016 game, I mean, this is really cool having all of these side missions. Like, I completed the game, and I feel like there's still a lot of things that I could do in the game. There's a lot of random encounters that I didn't do, but I still completed the game. Like I mentioned, playing it with other players can be super fun. Getting like hidden collectibles and things like that makes the game feel, or the world in the game feel super alive. And I had a really good co-op experience with some friends, just meeting. Sometimes, sometimes it's random people, and you get to matchmake with them. The matchmaking did take a little bit long. I know the game is obviously years old by now, but the fact that the game is still active in terms of the servers, I think Ubisoft is really, really, really good for doing that, because like a lot of people have moved on to the Division 2, by the way, and the co-op experience there is obviously way better than it is on the first one, with that Division 2 having a higher player count on Steam and on the PlayStation Store and on the Xbox consoles. So the co-op experience on the first one is a little bit limited, so you are waiting a little bit longer for matches to come through, and it's a little bit less limited. But when this one came out, I remember back then, like, my brother had it before the Division 2 came out. The Division 1 was like brimming with players. I think at one time they had like 50, more than 50,000 players, concurrent players every day, and it was just crazy. But this is really still a good game if you are patient. If you patient, I mean, you don't mind waiting for that, like 30 minutes, maybe like 20 minutes. But you will find someone, and you will definitely find someone in this world that's gonna play with you in the Division 1. You just gotta wait. So yeah, the cool thing about playing the game multiplayer is you get to play it with someone and have a really cool experience with that person. And of course, going to the dark zone. If you guys don't know what the dark zone is, that's our next topic. The dark zone wasn't that full. The dark zone is supposed to be a place that you go to on the map, obviously, where there's a lot of PvP encounters. But I ended up not getting any PvP encounters. And I think this is obviously because, like I mentioned, the game is old, less people are playing it. And I don't know if it's because of my time difference. Like, I'm playing in Africa, right? So the PvP like elements in the dark zone just not there. So when I'm in the dark zone, I'm rather just going against the AI, like PvE. The extraction mechanics are still there. Like, there's still a lot of risk and reward, even if it's not like real players, even if it's like the AI in the game. But the dark zone is something where it like should be mostly like other players, where you hunt other players and get their loot and things like that. So if you are looking for like a good experience in the dark zone, it might not be with the Division 1. I do know in the Division 2 the dark zone is more popular over there. Obviously more people are playing it. And with the Division 1, the dark zone is just dead. It's not as popular as you might think. So that is it, guys. Next, I just want to talk about the performance a little bit. Obviously, I'm playing the game on PC. As you guys know, I'm a PC gamer. If you don't know what my specs are, you can go ahead and check it out in the description of my channel. But I'm happy to say that this game performed very smoothly for a game that came out in 2016 and got a couple of updates along the way. I think the last update that the game had was in 2024, 2023. I think so. I'm not particularly sure, but I know the game has seen some updates over the years. But now it performs super solid, really smooth experience. Graphics was like set to ultra. The resolution was really good. Loading times not that bad to be honest with you, and the game runs super well on my GTX 1660 Ti. Texture models in the game look great. I do want to talk about the graphics a little bit. The graphics in the game, like I mean in 2026, it is an older game, so you do see that age in the character details, but there are parts in the game where it just looks absolutely amazing. Like the textures look nice. I love how the lighting looks, and of course the weather effects look amazing. Just surprisingly good. Like it surprised me how good the whole weather system of the game works with the day and night cycle and everything. While playing the game, you can't see the time like on your watch or anything like that, but the weather cycle that you use in that they use in the game is super cool because it goes through particular cycles depending on how you play, on how much you play. And there's a couple of things that actually surprised me, and I didn't know that it would. Like I mentioned already, the shooting in the game is really good. It surprised me. I didn't expect to be so immersed in the game like I was. Like I had a lot of fun playing this game. Like shooting in the game felt really good. The things that obviously were much better than I expected. Obviously, it looks really good for older modern game, and unexpectedly there was a lot of immersive moments, and it's really good. Like I feel like it aged really well. And obviously there are some repetitive missions when it comes to like the side content. Zero like UI issues, inventory issues. I got used to how the UI in the game works, and it was really good. I feel like now I will understand. Like at first when I was watching people play Division, I was like always wondering what's going on with the UI. But as you play, you get to understand what all of those things mean. So, is it worth playing in 2026? Like, is it worth picking up now? Of course. Like, the game at the moment is going for like low, really low on Steam. I know I think I paid like $10 for the game. That's like super cheap, and it goes for super cheap right now on all of the game stores, PS Store, Xbox Store. I'm pretty sure it's on Game Pass also, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, the experience is nice. If you do end up just playing the game online, you'll have a really good experience too. I definitely enjoyed just the online part of it, but the story, it had me hooked a little bit as well. So, if I'm giving it a final score for the Division in 2026, a final verdict for Division is I'm gonna say 8. I'm gonna give it an 8. And yeah, I think it definitely deserves an 8. So yeah, and honestly I didn't expect much coming back to it or playing it for the first time. Obviously the game's a decade old by this time now, and the expected gameplay, graphics, and the mechanics felt really better than I expected. So after spending time in New York, I realized that I definitely need to play the second one. So I might be doing a review for the second one on my channel as well. So you guys can stay tuned for that. If you do want to see it, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I do appreciate that. And let me know what you think. I've been Gamerverse, and I'll see you guys in another video.